So, hey everyone, I welcome you all to today's Meshery development meeting. Today is 17th July 2024. And if you are new to today's meeting, let me give you a small introduction what we do in this meeting and what Meshery is. So, usually in this meeting, we discuss about various features and bug fixes from community members and maintainers. And about Meshery is a cloud native manager, which helps you to manage your infrastructure. Also, there are many features like collaboration and others. So you can go and explore that on the docs.meshery.io. So before going to the agenda items, we do have a couple of housekeeping items, and one of is that you add your name in the attendees list. So one of us will share the link of this meeting minutes or docs in the chat so that you can add your name. And the second is, if you are new to today's call, we encourage you to introduce yourself. Like it's a great opportunity for you to introduce to others, community members and maintainers. You can share anything like what's your name, maybe where are you calling from, and what you like, anything. So anybody like to go and share about them? Itachi, if I'm pronouncing right, you are new to today's call. Would you like to introduce?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. Hey everyone, my name is Itachi. Actually, this is not my real name, of course. This is my Annan name. I work as a community manager in a Web3 startup which is called Hackquest.io. And I recently started my development journey. So I was looking for a good project to contribute in open source. And open source community is a great way to start your learning journey, connect with like-minded folks. So here I am today to connect with you all. And yeah, uh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's all about me, I think.
Thank you, Itachi. Yeah, sure. There's a lot going on. I'm sure you will learn a lot. So, Sneh, I'm not sure you are new to today's call. Would you like to go ahead and introduce?
Sure, yes. So, yeah, I'm new to this call. I attended my first Meshery call on last Thursday. So, yeah, about myself, I'm Snehit. I'm a full stack developer. I'm currently working with React and Golang. I have around 3 years of experience, and I've recently started working on a good first issue on Meshery CTL. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to have a good time.
That's great, Sneh. If you have any update, if you have, you can also add your agenda items in the topics. Thank you, Sneh. Uh, I think we covered all. Ajay, if you want to introduce. Otherwise, if you are not able to unmute yourself, you can always introduce yourself in the chat. Okay, so I think we covered everyone and other phases are familiar. So let's jump to the agenda items. So first we have from Innocent on troubleshooting Meshery installation and update the Meshery docs for mini queue installation. So Innocent, would you like to go and share about this? And yeah, you can share your screen too.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, can you see my screen? Yes,
Yeah.
I hope. Okay, we are going to see how to troubleshoot Meshery installation. Basically, Meshery has many ways of installation, installing Meshery. So the case here we are going to go through it's Meshery or any cluster deployment. That means Meshery is deployed in Kubernetes cluster. It can manage that cluster, or you can connect a different cluster to manage multiple clusters. So there are different installation process. You can use the Helm installation. You can use the Meshery CTL, which in behind the scene use also Helm. So I'm going to start with Helm. In my cluster, there's no Meshery now at all. I'm going to install from scratch. But I have everything here. There's documentation here. So I'm using the same guide, which is using Helm installation process. So I'm just copying these two commands. We are just adding a repo, Helm repository. Then we just install Helm using this one. So by this installation, I'm expecting it, since it's in cluster deployment, I'm expecting everything to be set up automatically. I mean, it will deploy different components like Meshery server, Meshery operator, the broker, and mesh sync. I mean, since this is in cluster deployment, all these 4 components are expected to be available on the fly. So this is what I'm going to do and see if this is happening. So my cluster, a brief introduction of this cluster. This is a multi-node cluster. You can see. So we have, I have 3 masters and 4 worker nodes. Actually, there are 5 worker nodes. So we have already some workloads running on this cluster. So these are the all workloads, including the control plane of the cluster. It's everything is here. But the real workload is in these namespaces like Argo. There's the Argo server, there is CNCPG. So this is just to show that the cluster is healthy. It is working fine. So I can just also show about the services to show that there is also load balancer working. So yes, these are services. You can see some of the services are of load balancer type, and they have the IP. For instance, this is Argo server, Argo CD. So it is accessible from this load balancer IP. So since the load balancer is installed, I'm expecting to have Meshery also up and running by just running these 2 commands. So this they are adding just a repository and then install Meshery. And I will get the load balancer IP to access Meshery and be able to manage my cluster. That's what I'm expecting, the same cluster. It's taking a bit of time. Yes.
It's a nice introduction, Innocent. It's nice of you good of you to say what you're expecting as well as you go through each step. That's great. Yeah, I wonder, or the fact that it's taking a little while makes me wonder if only Meshery server as a container is being installed, outside of the operator. So that would be in total maybe 4 containers, 4 images to download. If the adapters were somehow still configured to be part of the default install, then it could be more images to download. So I'm just kind of curious about, when this is done to see if those images were downloaded for some reason. They shouldn't be, because I don't think that those subcharts are enabled by default. So.
Yeah, I think this might be my environment issue. Actually, the internet, I was sure. I'm sure the internet was not good in this environment, but at least it has to, because the images are container creating that status come after already the Helm has already installed. So, but it is coming. Let's see what.
Yeah.
It's already at the repository.
Yeah, I will say that it's not a good sign that it took that long to add the repo, because
Yeah,
that's
it's bad.
yeah. But But it's a nice setup that you've got. It's a pristine environment. You've got some control plane items, some pretty typical add-ons that you would find in a lot of different Kubernetes clusters. So this is nice.
Okay, seems it can. Okay, already it is storing a Meshery server only. Let's at least let it finish to from container creating to running.
Yeah, I wonder if at the same time, a couple of custom resources have been defined for Mesh Sync and the Meshery broker. I wonder. Or I wonder if so we've got a CRD mesh syncs, and we've got a brokers, so that's good. And I wonder if we have CRs or just I wonder if we have a mesh sync and a broker defined as part of that Helm install. Or while you're waiting for the Meshery server to come up anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, out of curiosity, if you were to do a kubectl get mesh sync with a dash capital A, I wonder if what that would return.
I think that won't be because mesh sync is not a Kubernetes resource. At least if unless we can just get this CRD. Kubernetes get CRD mesh sync, but just mesh sync, since it's not a Kubernetes resource, it won't respond.
I wonder if from so there's a.
Yeah, this is the service, Meshery service, and this is the IP of the load balancer. So once the container creating is done, we will be able to access Meshery on this IP.
What network are you on right now? Out of curiosity.
Okay, I am. This environment is a remote environment. I'm accessing under VPN, but I can access this IP. I'm able to access it.
Oh, nice. Okay. So the host that you're on, network NWK1, is it in the same subnet as 10.10.10.52, or is it a different network?
Sorry, which network I said?
The 10.10.10.52. I guess I'm curious if you were to do an if config just to see what network the host that you're on right now is in. Just
Okay,
some
from this management, you can see I'm on this interface. The IP is 10.10.10.29, which is in the same range as 10.10.52. So I can access it. So, but this management management server I am on, it's also in the same network with the cluster. So locally, my laptop, of course, it's on a different. I'm now from my home, so I'm
Sure.
accessing the environment. I'm under VPN. So from
Perfect.
this, of course, I am on local on wireless. But my Wi-Fi is connected to this one. I mean, my VPN is connected to this one. So that's why I'm able to access this environment. Normally, I should be able to access that Meshery server. Yes, it's up and running. Let's see the service IP again. Yes, to this one. So I must be able. Yes, actually, I was accessing it before when I came back. Let me just delete full. So you can see I can access Meshery server. So if I try to add the provider Meshery, yes, I'm able to log in. Okay, as to log in, we can still see that we still have only this Meshery server. If I get the CRD maybe again, yeah, we still have this too. So I am logging through Meshery Cloud, which is having my profile and my credentials to give me access to my Meshery Cloud. My profile on Meshery Cloud gives me the ability to save some of my information, my custom information, such as connections. So everyone who has access on Meshery Cloud can have the design saved there, so that once you logged in, you can easily access all those information from Meshery Cloud. So this is the access I'm requesting from Meshery Cloud to be able to access my Meshery server. I think Meshery Cloud also is a bit slow.
Oh yeah, it does say it's processing, right? Yeah, it may be. Yeah. There is some add-ons that are downloaded from cloud to server. So if the bandwidth is constrained in that environment, there'll be a one-time wait, I guess, a one-time slowdown.
Oh yes, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Although, yeah, and so yeah, you're using an email address and password. So good. So there's no OAuth happening. This is just a straight login. So yes, I think that is probably what we're waiting on. Is just it's about 30 megabytes is the size of the add-on. So however long it takes to download 30 megabytes, probably. But that's a one-time operation. Anytime that there's a new Meshery release, there's also new versions of those add-ons. So, yep. So each time there's a Meshery release, there would be a one-time wait for that version to download that version of the add-ons. Hassan, you had a question?
Hi, Lee. Hi, guys. Yeah, so innocent, because I can log in without VPN. I don't have VPN access. I'm, of course, new here. I'm not sure if you're using, split tunneling with VPN or not, because I guess due to VPN, you are having issues. Your request is not able to receive by Meshery Cloud, because I can log in with my dashboard. So you can, it's most probably with VPN, isn't it?
Okay. Thanks, Hassan. I think that could be the issue. But I think the issue is just a slow internet, because in terms of accessing, I usually access Meshery Cloud. There's no issue. It should be successful after taking certain. It's a long time. I can actually admit that the environment I'm running in, it has really very poor internet since the whole day. I don't know what happened. But all these delays that taking, it's not an issue of Meshery. It's not an issue of anything else. It's just internet. I can admit that. It's my internet in the environment I'm running in.
Okay, thank you.
Then, yeah, well, while we're waiting, there's a couple of other data points to maybe gather just to, one of those is, Uzair, do you know, will we need to configure a callback in this environment? Perhaps
Yes.
not. Oh, okay.
Not sure particularly in this moment. In
Yeah.
the demo that Innocent shared on the Slack, I think he didn't configure it and he was getting redirected to the dashboard. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, you're a little bit garbled there at the end. It was there kind of hard to hear, but Innocent, and while that add-on is downloading, I wonder, do you mind if you were to just humor me and do a kubectl get pods for the namespace Meshery? I'd be curious to see if the two controllers have come up, the two. And so
the controllers would not come up because like in the plain Meshery helm chart, we only bundle the CRDs, the broker and meshing CRDs, and not the Meshery operator. So as soon as he like lands on the Meshery dashboard, then cube config will be like auto detected and the operator will be tried to deploy. But unless the dashboard is not loaded, operator would not.
interesting. I'm sure there's good reason behind that. Did you recall the logic there?
Yeah, good. Like Meshery server has not been accessed yet, so there is no like identification of cube config because the authentication is not completed. So
Yeah, but under the Helm install,
okay, the time install. I don't remember why we are not doing the operator with the Meshery. It could be that to reduce the size. I don't remember the exact reason.
But interestingly, when I deploy Meshery using, of course, any cluster deployment, but using Meshery CTL, that it deploys the three components. I mean, Meshery server, it deploys automatically the operator, Meshery operator, and the Meshery broker. I can see them automatically when I use Mesh CTL system start.
and you see them like while Meshery server is still container creating.
Okay, that one I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I checked through those statuses, but what I saw that is at the end, finally, I see all three components. But when Meshery server is still in container creating, I didn't check. I will have to check that. Okay.
Yeah, so at one point in the past, this is just a curious side note while we're waiting. At one point in the past, the Helm instructions that were provided in the docs would, I thought they included maybe both charts or two separate charts, but I could be misremembering. Out of curiosity, if you were on in your web browser, if you were to visit the site link in the menu at the top, yeah,
this
yeah,
one?
yeah. If you don't mind, there's a getting started button on that page that'll take you to, yeah. If you, in the top right-hand corner, there's a getting started button.
Okay.
Under the Helm logo, I'm curious if it's the exact. So it
This
looks like it
one
is.
chart.
Okay. Yeah. Which I think those are equitable or, comparable to the same, those have the same effect as what you just did, I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we can be talking about the other items as we wait this because time is running.
okay. Yeah. Okay. But let's circle back. This is good. This is a great exercise and a fairly typical setup too. So we need to make sure that that it's smooth, that install is smooth. So
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Innocent. Maybe, do you have any other item other than this? Or
Okay. On the agenda, I was to update us about the installation using Minikube. What I did only by updating the documentation was just to while installing using Minikube, there is one steps that is not automatically done after installing Meshery in Minikube, but to prepare the kube config file so that Meshery can easily pick it up and get deployed into Minikube. So that step, that's what I was adding into the documentation. It was just this. It was me flattening the kube config file. So, but there is still a conversation going on this that we can use Meshery CTL config. I'm not yet sure what this system config do, whether we don't have its documentation on the documentation of Meshery CTL system. We don't have the config one. So once, if this can do that part, I think we will not need this step. We can just replace it with this one. So yeah, that's that.
nice. Yeah. And I think you used in your screenshot, you've used the command appropriately. Meshery CTL system config Minikube. This system config command is meant to be a command of convenience to more or less help flatten and the cube config that like the steps that you were doing above, but to hopefully do it with less pain or like do it in less steps and maybe do it without do it in a way in which we don't overwrite or ask to overwrite the user's current cube config. It's been a long time since I've used it. It does look like the response that and so Husseina, since I don't think Shlok is on the call, but this might be a good one for Husseina to help drive forward. When Meshery CTL system config minikube is executed in that screenshot, the command starts. It is going to help prepare access for Meshery server to minikube. And I believe that the function that gets run by Meshery CTL is a function that's available in Meshery server. So Meshery CTL needs to talk to Meshery server. And in this particular environment, there isn't an authorization token. There isn't a session token available. And so this is a pretty universal UX that we need to have, where we're, in layman's terms or in regular people's terms, we're saying, hey, you don't have an active session to your Meshery server deployment, or there is no, what would you say? No active token, or what's the other word other than active? Like a valid token available. Run Meshery CTL system auth to grab a token. Or Husseina, that's something that like we need on so many of the commands, and time invested in making that a straightforward message would pay great dividends.
But we used to throw that error that you need to use Meshery CTL system login command first. And
Yeah, quite. Yeah, it may very well be the case that we're just being inconsistent with, like, we still have that message that's probably fairly well formatted, but that we're being inconsistent with its use. You would think that we could enforce that centrally, you know,
Okay.
to the yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, maybe I think I also have minikube here around, if I can show it here. On my local laptop, of course, I think I have minikube.
Regarding that auth.json, so basically we have a centralized function that checks whether that auth.json is present or not. So it only returns that access to this particular resource is unauthorized. So we'll need to add that line key. You need to check for using use a Meshery CTL system login. Just we need to add that while we are returning the error, and that should be it.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'll really help if it's if we use terms that even I could understand, like
I'll add it. Or Hosseina, do you want to take it? You could take it. I could create a GitHub issue.
Sure.
So you mean you are saying during the installation process we should include that step of logging in?
Well, during the or for any time that someone runs a Meshery CTL command, that in order to execute, if that command requires Meshery server to be available and to use a protected API, an API that would require a valid user token, then we need to improve the UX to like say, hey, you just need to establish a session, make sure that you're signed in, because it's too dangerous for some of Meshery's APIs to be exposed without authentication. And we didn't bundle in all the necessary logic inside of Meshery CTL in order to complete that operation. So, yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense. I think.
Okay, so thank you, Anisan. I think we can circle back to as you get login.
Yeah, there's one other thing he's going to show right here, and I think it's actually helpful to a lot of folks. Maybe Hassan or someone else had just messaged. There's a lot of folks that will try to run Meshery and use Minikube as the Kubernetes environment. And what I've seen most often happen to everybody, including myself, has been this really confusing local networking that's happening where Meshery can't talk to the right, like there's a networking issue. And so maybe this one won't, maybe we can run through this real fast.
You mean the step of port forwarding?
Sometimes the port forward, there's a couple of different, there's in the world of networking, the nice thing is there's a bunch of different answers and they can all be right. And port forwarding can be a correct answer.
Yeah, I think the issue is that we need a way to access the Meshery server, which might require just either load balancer or node port service type, or either we do port forwarding. So the quick solution is to do port forwarding. It's straight. I think it's clear. It's clear here. For Minikube. So then after installing, okay, another proposal I was adding in the documentation, coming back on that, I don't think we need this version here. So I had removed it in the. So then after installing, in order to access, let me show the services on this Minikube installation. Okay. So you can see that Meshery server that we need to access, it was of a load balancer type, and it is pending because we don't have load balancer in this Minikube. So, but still, to be able to access it, that's why we need port forwarding, or we can just edit this service, make it a node port, or make it a load balancer if we have installed load balancer in our Meshery, if we have enabled load balancer in our Minikube. So, but the quick fix is to use port forwarding, which is illustrated here in the documentation by using just the port forwarding. That's here. Forwarding here. Yes, you can either use this by using kubectl, but there is also Meshery CTL port forwarding. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. This gives you ability to access Meshery through localhost. Localhost -- the port of Meshery 9081. So you can access it by using just this port forwarding. Yeah, that's all. Because for instance, if I just do port forwarding on my Minikube installation.
Hey, Innocent, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm wondering if any of what you've experienced, you've been able to maybe document a little bit on the discussion forum, because in the past couple of months, even I myself have experienced or tried to install Meshery using Minikube and using kubectl, and I've also blamed it on my slow internet, and thus I haven't been able to get a lot done. And if this is a common issue, I'm pretty sure there'll be other people who might be in a similar environment as us. And I think we could document this maybe in the form of just like a small post on the discussion forum, just so we wouldn't need to have this conversation again, and you wouldn't maybe need to repeat yourself again on a similar call around the same topic. Just stating what it is you've done, what you've gone through, and so on. And I could also maybe in Slack link you to some of the similar questions that I've had, just in case somebody with the same issue comes along as well. And maybe we get to a better solution if slow internet is actually the cause of all of this.
Okay, and that's correct. Okay, so I was just showing that by just port forwarding, it opened the default browser. You can now access your Meshery through localhost. Yeah, that's it. So I think the documentation for Minikube, it's really straightforward. From what I saw was missing is that step of me flattening the kube config file, because it is not being done automatically. Currently, it is being done manually, but if it can be included to be done by just kube system config, I mean, Meshery system config, I think that would be great.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My Meshery, I have finally I am logged in. Yeah. The point is, since we still have, I hope you are not confusing the two environment. This one at top is the one which multi-node cluster that we were starting with before. So we still have, if I can, okay. I think they are now deployed actually. But mesh sync is the only one mesh sync. You can see 3 components now right there. Meshery operator, Meshery broker, and Meshery server. But if we come on like on the connection. Okay. So we need to know which server is this. I think we have we have two Kubernetes cluster connections. We have in total we have 8 connections. They are all listed here. So we don't have any other on the next page. So we only have 2 Kubernetes connections, and one which is active currently, it is this one. And this one, it's not really, I don't think it's mine. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I think this is mine. The IP. I'm just looking at this IP, the IP, if it can. Yeah, I think this is mine. This is my cluster. So now, if I want to check, apparently it is connected, but I don't have. Let's see the status. The status operator is still in deploying mode state. Mesh sync enabled. So I need to remember this statuses, the meaning of them. Troubleshooted. I think on troubleshoot. Okay, enabled means custom resource present, but mesh sync control is not connected to broker. So that's the state with. Okay, let me just refresh to see if it's it is still. Yes, it's still remaining in this state. So, which probably is the reason why I'm not yet getting mesh sync pod deployed here, because I think I'm supposed to have it as well among to be the 4th.
Yeah, there should be a mesh sync pod. Is there, if you do that kubectl, kubectl get mesh sync?
Not that one. No. I think that can't work, I guess, because that's not mesh sync. It's not.
I know you don't believe me, but then do a
Oh,
capital A.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Holy, what
it's
the?
there.
Oh,
And it's in Meshery.
yeah,
Wow.
but this, and so,
That's
but there
my-
isn't, but the pod is missing, right? Like just as you're, and so, Uzair, do we know if we have any operator logs that would indicate why the mesh sync as a pod isn't
Yeah, we
coming
can,
up?
or if you can check describe the Meshery operator deployment and see that if there any or mesh sync
Yeah.
deployment. Do you have like if you get all of the deployments in Meshery namespace?
Yeah.
Okay, then try to get the logs of like Meshery operator pod.
Mm.
Okay, it is defaulting to like inside this Meshery operator pod, there are two containers, so it is automatically using the queue manager one. If you get the logs for like other container,
Sorry, come again.
uh, there are two containers inside this particular pod, Meshery operator pod. So if you can try to get the logs for both of the containers.
I think both containers are should be. I mean, both logs should be here.
Can you do one thing inside the Meshery UI page? If you try to redeploy the entire Meshery operator thing, meaning like change the where we have like status as connected, try to disconnect it, change to disconnect and try to reconnect it inside Meshery UI connections page.
Okay.
So click on the status drop down.
Where?
Oh, no. Yeah,
I did.
this one.
Okay, I disconnected.
Yes. And then again, change back to connected. It will try to like undeploy the operators and it will start redeploying them.
Uh, you mean I did the operator or it's just doing it automatically?
It will do it automatically.
Okay.
Can you go back to the UI and try to refresh it so that sure.
So let's turn on to deploy that.
To try to get Meshery server logs.
You say?
Meshery server logs.
Meshery server. I mean the okay. Meshery server. Okay.
Okay, so it is indicates. So it is trying to reach to meshing, but because meshing is not available, so it is connection from Meshery server to meshing is failing. Yeah,
Mhm.
if you scroll below, scroll above.
Okay. And then same. Mhm.
It keeps scrolling up.
Okay. I continue.
Yeah, at this particular line, it says that it is not able to reach to your cluster. Yes, the Kubernetes API service not reachable. Credentials are invalid. This should not happen because uh, your cluster is still reachable, correct? If you go back to the UI and try to ping your cluster by clicking on that check on the in cluster chip, uh, in the same connections video, in the name row, you have the Kubernetes icon and in cluster is then on the left hand side.
This
Yes,
one.
yes. Yeah. So
It's reachable.
yeah. Okay, then we can try to delete the connection and we can try uploading the kube config.
So I delete this one. Okay. Let
But because you
me,
don't have any active Kubernetes connection, so Meshery server will try to automatically import from your local kube config directly. In this particular VM, you have kube config, right? So there will be a kube config located or no?
oh, you mean on my local machine?
I'm saying that because this is in cluster deployment, so it will automatically try to register itself. I mean, Meshery server
Okay.
will do that. So if you go back to the dashboard and refresh it, so it detected your in-cluster config.
So it
And
is registered again, right?
yes,
Uh,
if you do Helm list in your terminal, because sometimes I've seen that the cleanup of the Helm chart uh, is not done properly. So when it tries to redeploy the Helm operator, it fails. Yeah, this thing. So if you uninstall this Meshery operator chart, so it undeployed the resources, but it didn't clean the Helm install. This only Meshery operator chart.
okay. Meshery. Meshery, oh, sorry.
And if you go back to dashboard and uh, again you need to refresh. I know like this UI is not accurate. Like again you need to refresh it, but
Yes.
yeah, click on this row. So it's now like trying to deploy it. So the issue was that the Helm uninstall was not done cleanly. So when it was again tried to deploy the same Helm chart, it was conflicting with the already installed operator chart.
Oh, I see.
And if you see like, did you got the messaging pod now? Still, it's not.
The operator, the broker, so the mesh sync is missing.
In your Minikube, the way you were installing Minikube in your local setup, the messaging pod was getting created, correct?
Yes, it was created. Mesh sync was created. Yeah, it is, where is it? I think it was here. No, these are the services. Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, but in this, the install in Minikube was done with Meshery CTL and not with the Helm command. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Meshery CTL.
Okay. So in terms of, yeah, this is wonderful. There's lots of agenda that we didn't get to, but this is time well spent and hopefully helpful for a lot of folks, particularly around like live troubleshooting and the various things to go look at. I would recommend that we continue troubleshooting and get you to make sure that Innocent is good to go, and that if there's improvements to be made, that we're taking note of those and opening up issues on them. But that, Yash, that just given that we're at the top of the hour, that we would pardon anyone that doesn't feel like continuing, but that Innocent and who's there and whoever's interested might continue after on the same call, maybe.
Yeah, like thanks for everyone. Thanks for joining everyone. We will be continuing this troubleshooting, and if you have to drop, please do, and I will encourage you to participate, which will help you. So yeah, Innocent, please go ahead.
So if there are things that, for those that are the other attendees on the call, if there are things that we missed or things that you're needing a feedback on, or have things to announce, or please don't let that slow you down. Slow you down from doing so, either right in Slack or on the discussion forum or the mailing list. So don't let this get in the way of getting feedback or your agenda item through the machinery before next week. So yeah, great. Okay. So thanks for hosting, Yash. So we'll just, those that are interested, we'll just continue on this call and okay.
Innocent, so to be on the same page, I'm also at my setup trying to install Meshery so that I can use the Helm install and try to see in my development in my local setup is meshing pod getting deployed or not, and if not, we can troubleshoot like easily instead of you only trying to troubleshoot. So give me a few minutes so that my setup is ready.
Okay.
So a noteworthy difference between the two deployments is use of Helm versus use of Meshery CTL. Now, Meshery CTL underneath the covers uses Helm to do the deployment. They're supposed to be identical and they're supposed to be quite similar. although that might not be the case. Did you guys already try deleting the mesh sync custom resource and like recreating or deploying the mesh? Or redeploying, like deploying the Meshery operator chart manually, maybe?
We tried using it was deployed. In a way, Meshery operator chart was like redeployed because we disconnected it and tried redeploying it. But again, like mesh sync was not coming up. Or in a sense, use the Helm CLI to directly deploy the Helm Meshery operator.
I think I use the Helm CLI. That's what I used to deploy it.
Yeah, but this time install Meshery operator instead of Meshery. You use Helm CLI to only install Meshery.
Okay, you mean I also add the Meshery operator using Helm, right?
Yes.
So I should first of all remove it.
First, yeah. Delete the Helm release. Already installed Meshery operator Helm release.
All right. Okay. So I install it again using Helm.
Yes, install using Helm.
Okay, Meshery operator. Cannot reuse. So I also have to remove the. Is it?
No, change the name. You are still using Meshery as a name for this chart, for this release. So if you do, you can install Meshery operator.
I use a new name, like this.
Yeah.
But if it but it was deleted, why is it conflicting?
Because their Helm, because Meshery Helm chart is already installed and it has the same name of like Meshery. That's why it is conflicting the name.
Okay. Okay, the new operator is already running, but the broker was still terminating.
This might be the old broker, like broker instance from previous operator release.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it the broker is also deployment, or it's
It is a pod.
it's just a pod or deployment?
Yeah, only a pod. Operator deploys this pod.
Okay. So can I force it? No. Uh, oh, okay. Yeah, the operator is there.
Okay, so you use the
Okay,
now
the
broker is coming up.
broker is coming as a, yes. Yeah.
So side by side, I was also using the same setup that you had previously. That is install Meshery using Helm install Meshery, only Meshery, not the operator. And I'm using Docker desktop Kubernetes cluster. And for me, it deployed the operator. First, it deployed operator, then operator deployed the broker and messing. Let's see that. So in this as well, in this scenario as well, I think you install Meshery operator using Helm CLI, and it is not deploying messing pod.
Yes. But
Can you
even
verify?
even when I use the Meshery CTL to install, it doesn't install mesh sync as well.
In the same VM, right?
Yes.
So can it be the cause that some memory requirements or the way this current node memory requirements are set up such that it is not allowing messing pod to come up or to provision on this particular node?
My worker nodes, I think they have really enough memory.
No, it might have enough memory, but some taints or tolerations on the node that is prohibiting the installation.
Oh, sorry, I don't get you. What could be, what is the issue there? You mean the mesh sync can require certain memory that is the cluster cannot provide?
No, like I'm sure like your cluster is powerful enough to, because like on Minikube cluster messing pod is coming up and messing is not that heavy. But I'm saying that it could be that the this particular Kubernetes node has some labels or some taints that is prohibiting, or there's like some configuration issue or something happening, which is because of which like messing pod is not getting created. Can you verify in some way that messing pod is created, but the pod is created, but the allotment or provisioning on a node is failing?
Okay, I think in that case we could see it in a pending state at least, not not running or container creating, but at pending if it's not getting a requirement ready. Okay, I'm just guessing because I don't think if it could, how a pod can be ready to be deployed. We should be able to see it in a certain state. I don't see any other way I can check. I'm not. Hmm. So how which is it Meshery server that calls that initiate the deployment of mesh sync?
No, Meshery operator.
Meshery operator. So in that case, at least maybe the Meshery operator maybe can give us, if the logs of Meshery operator, can we see where it is calling
Yeah.
that Meshery? Yes, okay. Actually only have this logs. Attempting to acquire AWS, successfully acquired the. Yeah, I don't see where it is trying to deploy mesh sync. Hmm.
Okay, let's see like manually deploying the mesh sync code. So I will take the mesh sync manifest and we can just use kubectl apply and then see like what happens.
Okay. But why it's not even showing the logs for the broker, broker deployment? Hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious if you were to like, there's a command shared in Zoom chat. Some of the latest Kubernetes events might give some insight as to like why the pod isn't being scheduled, or if it is being scheduled.
Mhm. Um,
And so the issue, part of the challenge here is that we just don't see the pod scheduled at all, right? We don't see it in a pending state or an error state. So there's not really logs you can go get on the pod. So we would either need logs from Cube API in terms of like why it's not scheduling a resource, or potentially logs from the operator in terms of it attempting to. And so we already looked at the operator logs and they don't seem to have any indication as to its operations.
uh, is this alarm, I mean, the reason what you're saying here? I don't.
It's feasible, but it may not. Like, I mean, it's feasible that that would prevent that would prevent the Docker image from being pulled, but but couldn't say for sure. I wonder if we can get more events.
I'm not sure what this log even want to tell us. This is a method LD thing. I'm not sure what is warning or what's the effect it could have to the cluster.
So, Innocent, I've shared the meshing deployment file. So if it is the case that meshing image is not getting downloaded, so if you try to apply this particular file, you will be able to understand like what is the actual issue, because we can then see the events for this particular deployment.
Okay. Okay, I want just to check something before. But, once they introduce control something. So that was content. Okay, let me apply that. Container creating, running already. Okay, mesh sync state now running. Does that mean I can?
No, it is still not connected. So
Oh, it's not.
Meshery, yeah. So Meshery broker is Meshery server is able to communicate with Meshery broker, but Messync is yet to initiate a connection between Mesync and Meshery broker.
Okay.
Yep. And so and so how's that evident from the UI? The gray indicator?
So yeah, if everything is connected, so it will turn to green. For example, like if you see Meshery broker chip, it is connected, so it is green.
Yep. And yep, so on, great. And does he just need to wait?
Yes.
Or, and should we check the logs on Mesh Sync Pod?
Yeah, try seeing.
Mesh sync. Yeah. Could not connect to broker.
Okay. Yeah. So in the manifest that I provided you, inside the environment variables, like the IP address of the broker is like, because this manually deployed like outside of the Meshery operator zone, so you need to like set the correct value for this particular environment variable. If it had been through like Meshery operator, so it would have chosen the correct one.
So I have to give it the correct IP. This one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. in the container one. So if you again go back to that meshthing.yaml file, so at the containers block, there is an environment variable. Yeah, there's some broker URL.
Oh, this is the URL of the broker, right? So I give it that one I have copied. Oh no, the broker is a pod, right? It's a simple pod, not
Yeah.
doesn't have a service or what.
It has a service, but because like it is internal, like they are in the same namespace, so you can give the pod IP directly.
Okay.
Do we need to restart because the environment variables get seeded or reused when the code is like initialized or the container is created?
Okay, let me see that. It didn't restart. No, it didn't. Okay, can I just delete it?
Just delete the pod. Yeah.
Or I can restart it, I guess. No, restarting and delete it. So the operator should deploy it again automatically.
Yeah. In this case, we are like we have deployed deployment for meshing, so the deployment will take care of creating a pod. Because
Oh, it's already deployed. No, I thought just changed, but it didn't. Okay. Okay.
it is now connected to broker. If you navigate to meshthing, or sorry, check the Meshery server logs. So now like meshthing and broker are in communication. So now we have to these are Meshery server logs, right?
Yes, Meshery server.
Okay. So I think now everything is connected. So you should get data and as well as the status should be updated. If you again go back to Meshery UI. And if you go and navigate to meshthing table, so it is enabled. So it is like refreshing the state.
Okay. So
I
it
will
is
check like why the status is not changing for like meshthing, even if it is connected. Or
it has
it might be
discovered.
it might take time.
Oh, great.
So the issue that we figured out was like why via Helm CLI and Meshery operator installation, or directly when Meshery server is trying to install Meshery operator, the meshing pod is not getting created for this particular environment. Because at my setup as well, like I replicated the same thing, like used Helm install Meshery, and when I navigated back to Meshery dashboard, it registered my connection as well as deployed Meshery operator. Then Meshery operator deployed Meshery broker as well as meshing. But in this particular case, we had to like manually deploy meshing pod. I'm not sure like why this was the reason.
How does it deploy this, like the broker and the mesh sync? Is it a file it's download, or it's the file already in the mesh in the operator? I mean the YAML.
No, this YAML I just made a dry run of the Helm. Because my in my cluster meshing deployment was already available, so I just take that output and gave it to you. But Meshery operator, what it does is like it don't use this YAML file that I shared with you. It internally uses the Kubernetes API itself to deploy the pod, to create a meshing deployment. It doesn't use this particular manifest file.
So there's nothing. It's calling from internet to deploy the broker and the mesh sync, right? Only images and yeah, probably images.
Yeah, image we specify the image, like okay, this is the meshing image based on.
So and the images are all images for Meshery are in the same location. So I'm just trying to understand if my environment can get stuck to download that image or access issues about. But if they're in the same location, there should be that issue. Okay.
Yep. So we need to identify what's unique about that environment. Is it the constrained bandwidth? Is it like the operator needs to be enhanced to probably put out better log messages? Yeah. The operator needs to be enhanced to read from an updated CR. When a custom resource is updated, it needs to reread that and reconfigure the deployments that it's controlling. That's been an outstanding issue for a while. Some logs will definitely help. The Helm deployment, or the deployment, I'm sorry, the Helm install, the default instructions should probably install the operator and should probably install the operator by default. Otherwise, we're just asking for the users to have to wait around until they sign in to be able to see any data. Instead, it'd be nice if they saw data when they first signed in. If there's a distinction between the behavior in CTL and the Helm commands, ideally there isn't. Or it's readily apparent that there's great reason for that to be different.
The only difference is like in Meshery CTL system start, we deploy like both of the charts, and it is not that we are overriding the values of Meshery chart such that it includes the Meshery operator. It's just that we use say both the charts. So I think we can update the Meshery talks to communicate the same thing or include Meshery operator as a subchart of Meshery.
Okay, I will also check if I use the Helm install in the Minikube without using the Meshery CTL. I will see if it is.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Be good. We also need to better communicate in the UI what is happening, what the gray status means.
So, do you mean separate colors for like different states?
It doesn't matter if it was hot pink or it doesn't matter what color it is. If we're not telling users what that means, it
Okay, so
It
yeah,
says-
we can include a link to the like, particular state, like what the states mean.
yeah, except nobody wants to read through the docs to figure that out. Like, if we already know what running means and it means it's not connected, then we're showing it in gray, which is good. But we should, yes, show a link, although tell them explicitly the fact that gray doesn't mean good, running doesn't equal success. Connected is what they're going after. Here's a link with common troubleshooting tips. Or
I think it will also be good if we can publish logs on the Meshery operator or Meshery server when the mesh sync is being deployed or mesh broker, the broker, when it's being deployed, it's done, it's failed. So it can also be
yeah,
helpful.
just the events that come back, letting people know that of the so right now, how many nodes have this mesh sync on it?
You mean in this deployment?
Yeah, or I guess it's just sorry, that was a bad question. Never mind. So it's one operator per cluster, which in the default deployment equates to one broker, one mesh sync per cluster.
Yes.
Okay, good. Uzair, how are you going to recreate this? Or what additional information do you need to be able to do this? There was a prior deployment, it seems, maybe of Helm or using Helm.
Yeah. So that was not clearly cleaned up. And I understand, like for whatever information I need, I think I have all of them. Like at the first attempt, it was not clearly uninstalled.
And we're going to be able to handle that, right?
Yeah. But I'm not sure about like the reason of meshing pod not getting deployed in the first environment. For that, I'm not sure like what we can do for unless we know the exact reason. Do you have any
So-
idea of like why?
This is this is in Minikube. I installed using Helm.
I do know that the operator needs to be enhanced with additional logs and some resiliency and the ability to be live configured to reread the CRs. I know that we need to probably stop referencing stable latest as the tag for mesh sync and operator and broker, but probably specific releases.
I think we need a load balancer. Yeah, this one is failing. I remember because we don't have load balancer in
So what are you trying to like So in this, you use Helm CLI to install the Meshery chart inside your Minikube cluster. So it will only deploy in Meshery server.
Oh,
So
it's only
what
deploy
else?
Meshery stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means the operator should be deployed manually.
No. So when you go to Meshery dashboard, it will register your Kubernetes connection, and then after that, Meshery operator will be deployed, and then Meshery operator will take care of deploying the controllers.
So I need to do port forwarding. Okay. Oh. Hmm.
To be sure, in this Minikube cluster, you don't have any Meshery operator Helm release, right?
No, because I just deleted the entire Minikube. I
Okay.
deployed a new one. Oh, I will do. There is a problem. I think there is an issue here. Yeah, can just use. Mhm. This is my cluster.
See, it is deploying operator is deployed after your connection got registered, and now operator started to provision messaging and
Oh, it is deploying. So that it requires to do what? To access the dashboard before it starts, or
Yeah, so it needs an active Kubernetes connection. So as soon as you land on Meshery dashboard, if you don't have any active Kubernetes connection, so Meshery server tries to find and kube config, or if it is in cluster, so it automatically registered. But if you're outside of cluster, it tries to find a kube config file and try to register against that. And as soon as that registration is successful, then the provisioning of operator begins.
okay. So seems on Minikube it's fine. There's no issue. The mesh sync comes, and the blocker, everything is fine. So I need to check what is particular in my environment. So no problem. I will try to spin up another environment, probably even on different network, and see. I mean multi-node cluster, and try the same steps and see.
Yep, this is great. Hey, I've taken some notes and put them into the Slack channel about what I think some action items are. There's one thing that we didn't do on this call, and that is to refer to the published troubleshooting guide for the operator, the broker, and MeshSync. Innocent, it'd be helpful if you took a look at that guide to see if it would have been in any way helpful in this situation, and if we might improve on it some. Uzair and Shlok, I took some other notes on things to potentially enhance and put them into the Meshery channel. Maybe those are the right things to enhance. Maybe we need something else.
So
if we're agreeing that those are the right things to enhance, then let's see if we can't get GitHub issues on each one.
Okay.
This is great. This is like, Innocent, thanks for staying with it, man. It sounds like at the moment we're leaving with 2 successful Meshery deployments. Is that right? One in
yes.
Minikube. Okay. All right. Could be a lot worse. So that's good. And yeah, it's a little bit confusing as to why like we don't have all the right data necessarily as to why it is that MeshSync either wasn't getting scheduled. Like, and that's kind of part of the problem is like, it doesn't seem to be getting scheduled, and whether that's the Meshery operator's fault for not seeing the custom resource that's defined, and then, you know, trying to deploy a MeshSync, or if that's like the troubleshooting starts with Meshery operator, whether it's having trouble telling Meshery or Kubernetes API what to do, or Kube API says, I'd love to do it, but your custom resource is so far out of date that we don't support that anymore, or I'm not sure, but between, you know, logs from the operator or potentially logs from Kube API, which is in part like the events that we were looking for, those might be indicative of, you know, for the operator, this should be meat and potatoes of like what whatever the Kube builder does. Yeah. So as we look to enhance the operator, we want to be following convention and taking advantage of like a well-trodden path. So Well, good. Well, let's make sure that we follow through on opening up the issues. I think we've had an issue. I know that we've had an issue open in the past to enhance the operator to support real-time reconfiguration of the networking. Yeah. If you update the CR, the custom resource for MeshSync, with a new IP address or a new style networking, the operator should be cognizant of that and take care of it.
Innocent, can you please go back to the Meshery server and show we have the event of two models failing inside Meshery, the dashboard?
Okay.
Yeah, if you navigate to the events notification center, right hand side, near your left to it, the bell
No.
icon.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, can you click on it? Yeah, so can you open the first one, fail to import two models, and just click on the view.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, that's the normal. So Lee, the first model is the artifact hub. So it's showing, means we have another model that we were registering, the Kubernetes. So for that, the two models are artifact hub and Kubernetes. And for Kubernetes, because that particular model, that particular component already existed, that's why it's showing. And that is the error that we get sometimes in logs as well, that unique key ID error.
Seems like we should, seems like we should handle that. Seems like we would say, hey, that's okay. You've already got it. Maybe it's not an error. Or it is an error. Let's delete your existing one and overwrite it. Or something other than telling the user that there's a problem. We should either address the problem or it's not a problem.
Okay.
Was there any prior art that Shlok needs to be aware of as he goes to eliminate this unique constraint failed issue?
So Shlok, you can just use like inside the query itself that tries to register thing, you can add a constraint that on conflict do nothing. So that if the model is like completely identical, do nothing or do update. So this should be the like only thing. And in any which way, like if there is anywhere while registering keys, the castle keys or this component registration, if the error is of type like unique constraint failed, it means that this thing already exists. So I think we should not capture it as an error, but maybe a debug log or warning.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, all right. Hey, what a marathon, but some good stuff coming out of it. Hopefully it was helpful to, well, everybody. I know it was helpful to me. Yep. Anybody have anything else before we check out?
Yeah.
All right. Great. Hey, thanks, guys. Hey, we'll catch you back in Slack. See you guys later.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.